There's a sentence women say to me that has become nails on a chalkboard. I'm trying to get my husband to dot, dot, dot. Lose weight, eat better, start exercising, stop eating certain foods. And these days, my response is pretty simple. Does he want to? Because if he doesn't, we have a much bigger problem than what should be on his meal plan. You're trying to take responsibility for a decision that belongs to another adult. And today I'm going to say something that may irritate a few people. Stop trying to make your spouse lose weight. You can encourage change, you can support change, you can make healthy choices easier. You can absolutely express concern, but you cannot manufacture someone else's desire to change. And if you stay with me, toward the end, I'm going to give you the 3 things I now recommend instead. Support, model, release. The last one may be the hardest. It also may be the one that changes your relationship with this issue completely. I used to participate in this. I need to own this because I've changed my thinking over the years as a coach. I used to have female clients say, "Could you make a meal plan for my husband too?" And I'd say, "Sure. What does he weigh? What's his goal? What's his activity level? Let's calculate his calories and macros." And eventually, I had to stop and ask myself, why am I coaching a person who never asked to be coached? His wife wanted him to make changes. That didn't necessarily mean that he wanted to make changes. And those are 2 very different things. I could create the perfect meal plan. I could make calories appropriate. I could make the protein perfect. I could give him every tool that he needed. But there was one thing I couldn't put on that piece of paper: his reason for doing it. He has to bring that. And today, I'm far less interested in helping one adult manage another adult's health behavior, because lasting change requires ownership. Now, I understand where this usually comes from. Most of the time, it's love. You care about this person. You want them to be around for a very long time. Maybe you've started making changes yourself and you're feeling better. So you look at someone you love and think, I want this for you too. And that is totally understandable. Want it for them, encourage them, offer to help them. But pay attention to the moment when "I want this for you" quietly becomes "so I've decided you need to do it." Because that's where we cross a line, and good intentions don't give us ownership of another adult's choices. There's a very simple way to see this as well. Let's go to dinner. Your husband orders a burger and fries. You look across the table and say, "Are you sure you want to eat that?" How does that sound? Some people may hear, "She cares about him. She knows he's trying to lose weight. She's just trying to help." Okay, now reverse it. A woman orders a burger and fries. Her husband looks across the table and says, "Are you sure you want to eat that?" Oof. Same restaurant, same burger, same fries, same sentence, but it may land very differently. Now we may hear judgment, food policing, control. And I'm not bringing this up so we can spend the next 10 minutes arguing about whether men or women get away with more. That is not the point. I'm asking a much more useful question. Why are we policing another adult's plate in the first place? If someone asks for your help, that's one thing. If your husband says, "I'm trying to lose weight and get healthier. If you see me getting off track, please call me on it." Fine. He's then invited you into the process. But unsolicited commentary about another adult's food isn't automatically helpful because it came from a place of concern. Care and control are not synonyms. I want you to remember that. And here's the practical problem with forcing change. Let's say your pressure works. He follows the meal plan, he starts walking, he joins the gym. Maybe he even loses 15 pounds. Wonderful. Now, remove yourself from the equation. What happens? Because compliance and commitment can look identical for a while. but they're not. Compliance says, I'm doing this because you want me to. Commitment says, I'm doing this because I value what this gives me. One requires somebody else to keep pushing. The other has a reason to continue when nobody is watching. And if we're talking about health habits that need to last for years, not 3 weeks, that difference is everything. You cannot lend someone your why. This is difficult when you can clearly see what someone should do. Maybe you're completely right. Maybe they would benefit from losing weight. Maybe exercise would improve their health. And maybe you're concerned about what happens 10 years from now if nothing changes. You can be absolutely correct about all of that. Though here's the uncomfortable part. You can still be right and still be out of bounds. Being correct doesn't give you control, and knowing something is healthy doesn't automatically make another person value it enough to change. We know this from our own behavior. Most of us already know vegetables are good for us. We know exercise matters, and we know that sleep matters. Knowing isn't the problem. Human beings don't consistently do everything they know is beneficial. Behavior change happens when the outcome becomes personally valuable enough that we're willing to change what we're doing. At some point, they have to want something on the other side of that behavior. You cannot want it enough for the both of you indefinitely. And sometimes your pressure makes the behavior less likely. Think about something you already know you should probably do. Now, imagine somebody reminding you about it every single day. How long before you want to do the exact opposite just to get them off your back? Nobody likes feeling managed, and your marriage or partnership shouldn't start resembling a parent-child relationship. Did you exercise today? Should you be eating that? I thought you said you were trying to lose weight. That's not partnership. That's monitoring. And once you become the food police, something else happens. Now they can make you responsible for their choices. Well, you brought the cookies. You didn't remind me. You wanted to go out to dinner. No. That's exactly the dynamic we don't want. Adults need ownership. So what do you do when you genuinely care? This is where I use 3 words: support, model, release. Support. Support the changes they choose. If your spouse says, I'd like to start walking after dinner, you can say, want company? That's support. If they say something like, I'd like to eat dinner at home more often, great. How can we make that easier? You're helping them execute their decision. Model. This may be the most powerful one. Want your spouse to exercise? You exercise. Want more nutritious food in the house? You demonstrate eating it. Want healthier routines? Build yours. And then do something surprisingly difficult. Stop talking about it so much. Let them watch. Let them see you getting stronger. Let them see your energy improve and you to become more consistent. Let them see that you're no longer starting over every Monday. People notice results, and sometimes your example becomes considerably more persuasive when you stop trying to persuade. Be the evidence, not the advertisement. You don't need to sell healthy living to the person sitting next to you. Live it well enough that they become curious. And finally, release. This is the hard one. Release responsibility for what they decide to do next. You can cook a nutritious dinner. They decide how much they eat. You can invite them on a walk. They decide whether they go. You can share your concern. They decide what they do with it. And if you're thinking, but what if they make the wrong choice? They might. Adults do that. I do that once in a while. Of course, you do too. Respecting someone's autonomy does not require agreeing with every single decision they make. It means recognizing that the decision belongs to them. What if this really is about their health? then talk about it. But talk about the actual concern, not the hamburger. Don't wait until dinner and say, "Do you really need fries?" Choose another time. Say, "I love you, I'm concerned about your health, and I want us to have a long life together. If you decide you want to make some changes and you'd like my support, I'm totally here." And then listen, that's an adult conversation. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're overwhelmed or they don't know where to begin. And maybe they're simply not ready. And if there's a medical issue involved, encourage them to speak with their healthcare provider. You are their spouse. You don't need to become their doctor, dietitian, trainer, and food police. And there's another reason I want you to stop doing this. Look at how much of your energy it's consuming. You're watching what they eat. You're worrying about their weight. You're wondering whether they'll exercise. You're researching solutions for them. You're getting frustrated when they don't follow through. You're reminding, you're nudging, and also negotiating. That's a tremendous amount of energy spent managing something you never actually controlled. So here's another uncomfortable question. What could happen to your health if you put that energy back where it belongs? Your nutrition, your training, your sleep, your overall lifestyle habits, your consistency, your choices. Don't become so preoccupied with changing someone else that you stop working on yourself. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, if you've been trying to manage one of your spouse's health behaviors, stop. Not forever, 7 days. No commentary on their plate. No quote unquote helpful reminders they didn't request. No nutrition lectures. No, you know what you should do? Instead, practice support, model, release. If they ask for support, give it. Otherwise, model the behavior you value, then release the outcome. And pay attention to what happens, especially to you. You may realize how much mental energy you've been spending trying to control something that was never yours to control. Now, I want to leave you with 3 lines today. Care and control are not synonyms. You can invite change, you cannot assign it. And maybe my favorite, be the evidence, not the advertisement. If your spouse watches you become stronger, healthier, more energetic, and more consistent, they may eventually say, "What are you doing?" Great, that's your opening. Open the door. Don't drag them through it. Because lasting health behavior doesn't begin when somebody else finally nags us enough. It begins when we decide that the outcome matters to us. And that decision belongs to every adult individually, even the ones we love. So tell me in the comments, have you ever tried to change someone who wasn't ready or been on the receiving end of someone trying to change you? What did it actually accomplish? And if you're tempted to send this video to your spouse with, "See, this is what I've been telling you," maybe watch it one more time. Support, model, release. Then put your energy back into the one person's behavior you actually control, your own. Do good, have fun, be well.